Brought to you by Lister Pros TV, streaming from Tempe, Arizona. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Jordan Nielsen here, host of Real Estate Pros on Lister Pros TV, and today we have the privilege of having Rebecca Hidalgo Reigns in our studio.
Woo, look at how you roll that.
That's how we roll. Berkshire Hathaway. I've done it a few times over the last couple of days.
Yes, you have. Hidalgo.
Hidalgo, sí.
Yeah.
Yo hablo español.
Mira.
¿Tú también?
Yeah, un poco.
Qué bien. All right. So, for those watching that don't know who you are, we'll give you a couple minutes to introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Rebecca Hidalgo Reigns, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. I've been now licensed 25 years full-time. I swear I was like 2 when I started. That joke's actually probably getting really old because I keep using it for like the last 10 years. One of my probably calls to fame is I've got Farayo next door who calls me One Take Reigns. I'm a huge fan of video, as you guys know, because I come down here and do video all the time with you guys. And I've found that it's really important to incorporate that into our business today to stay in touch with our customers, our clients, our fans, our friends. And so I'm a huge fan of that. I know some other things about me. I do a lot of new home construction. I represent Balago Homes. During the downturn, I sold an awful lot of short sales and foreclosures, mainly short sales. Learned real quick how to negotiate with the lenders because I had a whole bunch myself I had to deal with. And here we are today, fast forward, and have a thriving business. Love Berkshire Hathaway. I moved my own little boutique brokerage there. Gosh, I think it was at the end of 2014, so I've been there going on 4 years
since
now.
I've known you, it's always been Berkshire.
Berkshire, yeah. And that's about me in a nutshell. I have a nice team, partnered with my husband, and I know you were going to be asking me about my dog.
Yeah, Sig the dog. We'll talk about that. But you are a top producer at Berkshire Hathaway and in the Valley. So I'm curious. I don't know where you rank or whatever. You're one of the top producers?
From what I understand, I am.
You are.
From what I understand, recently NARAP just tagged me. I think it was 12th in units, but I think like 8 or 10 in production across the whole country for Latina people or Latinos. And because I'm a female, I can use the claim to fame that in Arizona I'm the top Latina. I believe in the West Coast or Western states, #1, and in the whole country, #2. Here in the Valley, Real Producers ranked me, I think, #4 last month in their publication for volume, and that was behind, I think, OfferPad and a couple other huge mega teams. And my team isn't that big by any means. We we try to work real smart and not as hard.
Certified hustler. See, in your intro, you drop hints about everything you got. You have a lot of stuff going on. You got Balago Homes. You got your team. You got Sig the dog. Let's talk about Sig the dog. I want to know about this guy. See, she came in and made a video a couple weeks ago. I'm like, what is this dog about?
Yeah, we brought the puppy in last week. My husband and I, sadly, back in May, we lost a dog that we'd had for 10 years. Loved him dearly. His name was Mo. We're pretty public on social media about it, and we're both pretty heartbroken. And we finally got the nerve to get a puppy recently, which it's like having a baby.
So it is your guys' dog.
Oh, yeah. He's all ours.
Are they renting that from, like, the shelter down the street? They're, like,
he's way too cute.
Using dogs for lights. And they're over here, and then you give it back.
Yeah, we did publish out to our database. We kind of teased him with, hey, buy a house, we'll give you free puppy.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, wait, what are they doing?
Hey, anything to be different. That's what it meant.
I like it. See,
you want to stand out.
It engaged me a bit. I was like, what are they doing?
Puppy? Yeah, it got you asking me about my puppy today. And that's really what I tell agents all day long. Recently, I had the privilege of doing a presentation for Real Producers and even taught a class over at Berkshire. And I'm here to tell you that you got to stand out. You got to be different. You got to be doing video. And you got to be getting... It's so important, even just driving over here, we got a listing appointment because somebody checked me out on Google, liked what they found on the reviews, and said, we're not even interviewing anybody else. We like your reviews. We want you to come and list our house. I mean, it's really powerful putting yourself out there. We all get so vulnerable a lot of people are really gun shy to be on video. But as you know, I've been a huge fan of yours since I think you did look at my rankings years ago, and
Oh yeah.
I wasn't even
used to
paying attention.
Put out ranking. Like I used to message people, "Hey, congratulations on your rankings." Was that initially?
That's exactly
Dude,
how
you know what's so funny about that is that was the second. Like after I sent that, Brian Bear didn't respond, and then he responded. It was funny because it's interesting. Just reaching out to people in like subtle ways like that. You don't think it's big, but you start to build relationships.
Well, and when you go about doing things that nobody else is doing, and quite honestly, I think I was still at Integrity All-Stars with our own actual company at the time.
Right.
And when I was in such a, there was no competition at my own company. I owned it with my husband. I wasn't even worried about anybody else's stats or even my own. So when you reached out and you're like, hey, did you realize? Congratulations. I'm like, what? I had no idea. So that was really cool that you did that.
Yeah. Sweet.
Props to you.
Sig the dog. Let's talk about real estate disruptors.
Real estate disruptors. Yes.
You actually were in some articles. I think I think like a marketing piece or something. I think I saw your face or something like connected with. I don't know which one it was, but
yeah, right? I need to get my royalties on some of that stuff.
See, if there's any, like, Rebecca is so involved with every little thing. So you're naming off some of the things. You do video, you do this. You do so much stuff. And, like,
I
obviously,
try to be dialed in.
It makes, agents like, oh, what do you need to do to be successful?
I'm going to tell you right now, and I did a presentation recently for Real Producers, and I'll tell you guys the lecture I gave in that room that day, and anybody who's there to see it, besides getting reviews published publicly on social media, it is so important to be different, but to really know the market. Like, I asked for a round of hands, and when I taught a class over at Berkshire, how many people subscribed to Cromford? Nobody raised their hand. When I was at the Real Producer event, there was more team leaders and owners, so I had a few more hands raised. I tell people all the time, it's okay to be a geek, to be a nerd, because if you're not dialed in knowing what's really going on, how do you counsel your clients? And that's what they come back to. And I was talking about the whole value proposition. My clients that I've had for years and years now are sending me their kids to help buy and sell houses for. And while that makes me feel really old, at the same time, it is such, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a compliment.
Honor.
Yeah, honor and compliment. But it's because they trust that I know what I'm doing, and that's because I am really nerdy when it comes to that stuff. So, a lot of people are out there and they're total haters of like OfferPad, Open Door, Zillow, and all these other entities. And I'm like, seriously, if you go and dig into the Cromford report, you're going to see that out of all of them combined, they only constitute 4% of our marketplace right now. That means 24 out of 25 listing appointments you go on, they're not interested in wholesaling their house. They want top dollar. And so when you know those stats and you really study it, you can really speak passionately about it, and people know that you know what you're talking about.
Right.
So that's my piece on this disruptors. I love those guys. I don't have any beef with them. I send them business. They have sent me business. You need to know how to work with them when the need arises, because they do serve a good purpose. But as I pointed out in my recent presentation, they're no different than the help you sell model or, a lot of the others that were there before the downturn. They're just doing the same thing. I mean, we buy ugly houses. Those guys have been around for years.
Right.
Are they any different than what Open Door and OfferPad are doing? No, not really. They're buying houses, renovating them, and putting them back on the market. They're flippers. So what are you guys so worried about? Don't be worried.
The rain, it's falling in. No, I'm just kidding. But I guess you not pay attention they're not taking agents' business. There's a part of the business that is. It's always that makes sense for what they're doing, and
that's always been the case. I kind of go back to, we have to now more than ever show what our value proposition is to our clients. We have to be the source of the information, tell them where to go, weigh their pros and cons. When I go on listing appointments, I talk about OfferPad and Open Door. I don't have any reason not to. I'd rather refer them the business and get paid a referral fee than have them go behind my back maybe. And when I go and see their house, I can tell whether, hearing their story, if that's a good fit for them. But again, 24 out of 25 right now are saying, no, I don't want to leave 20 grand on the table. And that's essentially the average person is leaving at least 20 grand on the table when they sell to one of those companies.
And recently, when I was driving down the I-10, I saw a billboard by Homey.com.
Oh, good old Homey.
Real estate agents don't want you to know about, like...
They got your back,
I
is their
haven't even
slogan.
looked into it. Oh, is that what the slogan is?
And I do, no offense, Dane, if you're watching, I'm sorry. Because Dane Briggs used to be over at Lawyers, now has joined over at Homey, and they have the flat fee model, which, again, is no different than Help You Sell in any of these other companies. They're just putting it on a different platform, which is more online. And the reality is again, it's only a certain percentage of clients who want to go that route, because most of them, real estate's a big deal.
Right.
They want somebody they can trust. When you say Homey's got my back, okay, seriously. I even heard from the source, they're taking inactive agents that don't do business and paying them hourly or per showing or what have you, versus somebody like me who's been doing this 25 years. How is there any competition?
Right.
And so you, again, have to go back to building your value with your clients to make sure that they want you in that transaction versus somebody who's just going to pay a flat fee to. I mean, there's Purple Bricks.
Oh,
Their commercials are hysterical. I mean, I put them up on my presentation, and there's a guy at the end. I always love the visual where he's like squirting water out of his butt. Have you seen the one I'm talking about? He goes diving into the pool. I mean, they're hilarious. And they're basically calling it commisery, really slamming commission. But did they mention that they have to pay a flat fee up front whether they sell the house or not? $3,600, that's kind of a gamble. Yeah. And again, that kind of goes back to, if you know the market and you know who's out there and you do your research, then why would anybody want to use anybody but you? You just have to show your value.
I didn't even know what their model was. I just seen the signs,
right?
How they operate. So there's always
there's a ton of them out there.
They may have the best marketing in the world and the best slogans and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, what are you getting as far as service and value from?
And experienced agents. I mean, most of us who are super experienced, we're not going to go work for one of those companies. You're not going to get somebody at my caliber. You're going to get somebody who couldn't make it on their own. I mean, truthfully, that's the case. There's another one I just heard about that's out of Seattle. They're actually like VRBOing a room out of your house. I mean, there are some crazy new companies coming out doing anything they can to get a piece of the action.
Interesting.
It is Loftium, I think is what it's called. Huh. And then there's another company called Knock that will go and buy the house, renovate it, sell it to you, and then renovate yours. But all of that is for a fee. I mean, you have to do the math. I mean, they're basically focusing on the people that want the convenience and are willing to pay for convenience. But again, the majority of people I've sat with want top dollar. They're willing to sacrifice maybe some of that convenience and have some showings, just like the good old days. And if they partner with an agent that uses quality photography and videography to market the homes, I am here to tell you that I get multiple offers on my listings all the time because I promote them with quality. And somebody who you're paying $1,300 to is not. I mean, that's just bottom line. And they're certainly not going to negotiate. If they're so quick to give away their own money and work for so little, what are they going to do with the consumer's money?
Right.
Again, the value proposition. I like negotiating. I have a lot of fun.
You see, you're the second person. There's a lot of value in negotiating. I think that's overlooked.
Oh, gosh.
A lot. It's like, they're going to do it for cheaper, but are they going to go to at-bat when the appraisals comes in low, to negotiate with the appraiser and then negotiate with the buyer,
there's really 3 stages of negotiations. There's the initial offer, and then there's the Binzer, and then there's when the house doesn't appraise. And if you don't have a pro knowing what they're doing and you can tell it's a newbie who's afraid to call the appraiser or doesn't do the research ahead of time, or when it comes to the Binzer doesn't have the contacts and resources to bid out and get good bids on the work that needs to get done, it is crucial that you have somebody on your side. And you're not going to get that with those other companies. And again, when I think somebody's had the experience of a very educated, experienced agent, they're willing to pay more because they know at the end they're going to net a lot more.
Right.
And it's all about what you end up with at the end of the day. And so I always try to find out what's their situation, what's their story, what do they need? Because when you make it about them, everybody wins. They really do. Because then if you hear their story, like I seriously last year had my sister sell her house to OfferPad. I tried to list it for her, but she was going through divorce and things were really messy and she couldn't have showings. And so when she called me in a panic, I'm like, hey. So I called those guys up and, and I did try Open Door, But at the time, OfferPad was giving a better deal. Now, sometimes Open Door gives a better deal. I tell my agents all the time, try them both and see who's willing to pay more. And then if not them, we buy ugly houses. I mean, there's so many investors out there looking for deals that, if you find that that's the best for your client, negotiate it.
Right. If somebody watching is a buyer, seller, or an agent that wants to ask you more questions, man, you're a wealth of knowledge. You're like, you know so much. Man, like, you make me feel rusty on what's going on in the marketplace. I learned a lot already. I gotta look out and see what's going on out there. But anyways, how do people get a hold of you and your team?
Best thing to do is probably just call 480-243-4242, which is our office number. Ashley or Sherry typically answers our phones, but at night and on the weekends, you'll get me or James, honestly. Or go to our website, integrityallstars.com. We have our team account email, which is team@integrityallstars. And, many times people find us just by finding us online, Googling it, and sending us an email. So whatever works for you. There's always Facebook Messenger, pigeons. You can send us a little pigeon carrier mail. Whatever is easier for you, we're happy to accommodate. And, quite frankly, like you said, I think you got a text from our office yesterday. I realized you're in our database. He got a video of Sig that I actually shot here last week.
I did.
He's a cool dog. We do a lot of texting too, so don't be shy. We're happy to help however we can.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me on Real Estate Pros, Rebecca. And we will see you guys on the next episode.
Thank you.